Good afternoon. My name is Jim Porter, and I'm the chair of the Rhetoric Department. Welcome to Commencement for the class of 2025 in the Rhetoric Department and the Department of Film and Media. Before we begin this event, I request that you please silence your cell phones, stay in your seats, and keep the aisles clear. There are 48 rhetoric majors and 155 film majors with us today, as well as 2 doctoral students in rhetoric. This is a very accomplished graduating class, and we are enormously proud of our students, who are also your students. But before we honor them, we wish to thank you, the friends, family, and other significant supporters of the students about to graduate today. First, for entrusting us with the task of educating them. Second, for supporting them in courses of study that do not always seem to have obvious practical applications. And third, for helping to shape them into fine, inquisitive, and adventurous individuals that they are. Thank you for sending us such excellent young scholars and for the sacrifices you have made along the way to help them reach this day. Let's honor then the family and friends of our graduates with an enthusiastic round of applause. Now to our students, for whom this ceremony is the capstone celebration of their accomplishments over the past 2 or 4, or in the case of our doctoral program, well, let's just say a few more years than that. Some of you may be wondering exactly what your children and relatives or friends have been doing all this time as they were progressing through our program. Let me try to address this question in the next few minutes as it pertains to rhetoric. A degree in rhetoric at Berkeley is an uncommon distinction. There are very few academic programs in the world that offer degrees in rhetoric, and certainly none like our own. The name rhetoric can be misleading. We are not a department of communication, let alone a department of persuasion. And since I won't try to persuade you of this, just take my word for it. What I find intriguing in all of this, in fact, rhetoric is not defined by any single discipline. Rather, at the core of our program is a concern for the ways in which language and thought intersect, but also a concern for what is not expressed in language, and at times cannot be easily thought out either. Because of this, it is not easy to explain to others what studying rhetoric at Berkeley involves, although we are constantly asked, and occasionally wonder ourselves. Not knowing for certain what we are about is part of what we do. Let's just say that in place of a disciplinary core, rhetoric offers a vibrant experimental departmental culture and a license to explore problems of knowledge and the world freely. This is not to say that we do not expect our students to be trained in conventional fields of study. We do, but we also ask them to do twice the amount of work that is expected of a student in, say, history or English literature. Our students must know the ins and outs of traditional fields in order to stand back and ask second-order questions about them. For instance, questions about how those fields are organized, how they communicate with nearby fields, and what their blind spots are. This exceptional status comes at a price. It is also what makes rhetoric a refuge for students who want to do more, not less, with their studies. One proof of this is the high number of double undergraduate majors that we attract. For all these reasons, rhetoric fills an important function in our university's ecosystem. It opens spaces, it creates breathing room, it is interstitial, and it takes our students down surprising paths in the humanities, in technology and science, in new media, law, and a host of other cross-disciplinary adventures. A random sampling of our undergraduate offerings from this year alone will give you a taste of their reach. These are titles of courses: Thinking in the Age of Intelligent Machines, Race and Order in the New Republic, Philosophies of Music, Cynicism and Cynics and Cynicism Between Ethics, Politics, and Protest, The Idea of the Museum, and Globalization and Gender in Asia. If I were to sum up what distinguishes our department, it would be this. It is a place where the best, the most energetic, the most imaginative students at Berkeley gather to test the limits of what they know and what they can learn. They come to our department not because what we do is self-evident, but precisely because it is not at all obvious what we do. Our students have proved that they are willing to take the risk of learning how to think, to question, to be critical, to imagine the world differently, in a word, to be a little more comfortable with being uncomfortable. For it is only by asking hard questions about what we do that we can begin to learn at all. In giving our students permission to take these risks, and by affording guidance along the way, we are not only equipping them for the richest form of academic study that we can collectively imagine, we're also equipping them for life. Thank you. I will now hand the podium over to Miriam Sass, Chair of the Department of Film and Media, for her welcoming remarks.
Welcome to the class of 2025. I'm Miriam Sass, Chair of Film and Media, one of the fastest growing undergraduate majors in the humanities. We're lucky to have the Dean here today with us, as well as our former Dean. You'll meet our Dean in a moment. She has been energetically supporting us in that growth. From the early days of film studies' existence as an academic discipline in the United States, the film culture in and around UC Berkeley has played a key role in the field, including the creation of journals, film societies, festivals, and more. Our program was founded in 1976 in response to the undergraduates' demands to be able to major in film. Our founder, Professor Bill Nestrick, for whom our main classroom is named, led the program until 1991, and we became a freestanding department of our own in 2010, thanks to the tireless efforts of many, but especially our former chair, Mark Sandberg, who retires this year. And as I'm noting changes, I would also like to thank Dolores McElroy, who has taught our undergraduates for many years and who will be moving to a new position at the Santa Fe Opera. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Dolores. Though we are no longer housed within Rhetoric as we were in our early days, Film and Media shares with Rhetoric a commitment to interdisciplinary inquiry and common intellectual assumptions about the importance of studying cultural expression and transformations, whether in images, sound, or language. For the friends and family of graduating film and media majors, let me address a frequently asked question: what does it mean to study film and media today, and where does such a study take one in life? In our department, we're primarily interested in fostering a deep understanding of moving image media. The film and media curriculum is centered around the historical, theoretical, and comparative study of moving image cultures around the world, along with their supporting infrastructures. Students in film and media study a wide range of cultural artifacts: film, television, digital media, the internet, photography, and the various phenomena of modernity, post-modernity, colonialism, post-colonialism, and globalization, all in the context of broader theories of culture. In addition to encouraging formal and cultural analysis of the image, we foster attention to creative practice through screenwriting and filmmaking courses within the department and by various student organizations outside of it. We support a blended model, uniting work in the creation of media texts with our analytical, historical, and theoretical consideration of the arts and media. Many of our students make things: films, videos, performances, digital art, scripts, and installation, some of which you'll see samples of today. things that challenge conventional understandings of media and propose new ways to think, see, and make meaning. All of our students write critically and think deeply about the role of various media in society, their effects, implications, and power. We are today surrounded by images and sounds, and it has never been more critical to understand how they work, what they do, the myriad ways in which they impact our lives. We are so grateful to have had the chance to work with your brilliant students, and we're so proud of the accomplishments of each of you today. It's with great joy that we bear witness to the commencement of the next phase of your lives. It's my honor now to welcome to the podium our Dean of Arts and Humanities, Dean Sarah Geyer, who will now introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Miriam, and congratulations, soon to be congratulations, but really congratulations to all of you, to your families, and also to all of your professors who have taught you and shepherded you through over the many years that you've been here. So I realize that it's almost always the case that whoever stands up here remembers when they were in your position, and I'm actually going to do exactly that. I, too, was once a student in rhetoric when rhetoric and film were a single department, which you've just heard about. And I, too, remember my graduation right here in Zellerbach Hall. However, with apologies to my somewhat distant predecessor, who was also the commencement speaker that year, we did not have a commencement speaker as fabulous as Rachel Kushner. This evening, I am so glad to welcome back to campus Rachel Kushner, who came to Berkeley at 16 years old and graduated in 1990 with a degree in political economy. Rachel, who now lives in LA, was a Bay Area kid who grew up in and on the streets of San Francisco. She's the author of novels and essays that I hope you already know: Telex from Cuba, The Flamethrowers, The Mars Room, and most recently, Creation Lake. And if you don't already know these novels, I hope that you get to know them this summer or beyond. Each of these novels is alike in the world building, the intellectual and historical reach, in their sense of humanity, and each of them is filled with people you seem to know, but probably never would meet. They give us a sense of the sheer expanse of this world and how we can know it and see it beyond what seems to be in front of us. Kushner has twice been the finalist for the Booker Prize and the National Book Award, both, and has been the subject of extensive profiles and stories across the international media, including The New Yorker, New York Times, and many others. She's here because she's one of us, but also because at the center of Creation Lake is Sadie Smith, an undercover agent who happened to drop out of the Rhetoric PhD program at Berkeley. And while Sadie has a pretty hilarious, if a little bit scathing account of the other Rhetoric students, which I leave it to you to find and read, Rachel knows what it means to be here. Whether you're a student here of rhetoric or a film, here is one of the most dynamic intellectual cultures in the world. So please join me in welcoming back Rachel Kushner.
Thank you so much for that introduction. A little flustered. All right. First, congratulations to the class of 2025 in Rhetoric and Film and Media Studies. I am aware that Rhetoric chose me as commencement speaker, and they and Film and Media apparently alternate by year, but I'm going to heavily pander to Film and Media so that they feel like they chose me too. And this isn't in my speech, but I was just thinking the way that two different human species got together long ago, Homo sapien and Neanderthal, and had a love child, maybe it was 100,000 years ago. I flatter myself to think that I am a love child between rhetoric and film and media. It is an incredible honor to be here tonight to address you at this exalted institution, UC Berkeley, the most prestigious public university in the nation, and dare I say the world, a place so storied and epic that Frederick Wiseman even made a film about it. It's wonderful to be among my own kind, that is, people who can appreciate the significance of this and situate their alma mater alongside the other storied and epic institutions that our greatest living documentarian has examined in feature-length form. Wiseman, after all, made a film about the New York Public Library, about the Paris Opera Ballet, and about Bridgewater State Hospital for the criminally insane. If he aimed to celebrate public investment in grand civic infrastructure at the library, to portray virtuosity and resilience at the ballet, if he were seeking to witness dramatic and frightening departures from consensual reality at the mental institution, he could have skipped all three of those places and captured all of it right here at Berkeley. Part of my pride at being here tonight stems from the fact that, as Sarah mentioned, this is a return for me. I received my diploma right here in Zellerbach Hall. I don't remember who the commencement speaker was, except that he was an elderly gentleman with a thick and atrocious German accent, and I began to get head nods and could not fight them, and eventually gave in and fell asleep as he was droning on. And no, that is not permission to go to sleep. Of course, they did not select me to speak because they were looking for someone who graduated from Berkeley with no real record of distinction and in this very auditorium and who fell asleep during commencement. Probably I am not unique in those qualifications. They also did not invite me, I'd wager, on account of the depiction in my recent novel, Creation Lake, of a protagonist who was a Berkeley Rhetoric department dropout and says the following, so you don't have to look for it because I'm going to read it. In my life before this life as a graduate student, there were know-it-all women in my department who held their hands up and curved their pointer and middle fingers to frame a word or phrase they were voicing with irony as critique. They were fake tough girls who were not tough at all with their fashion choices veering to chunky shoes and a leather jacket from a department store. They were getting PhDs in rhetoric at Berkeley, as I had planned to before I abandoned that plan and spared myself their fate, which was to subject themselves to academic job interviews in DoubleTree hotel rooms at a Modern Language Association conference. Listening to them prattle on and bend their fingers to scare quote, a craven substitution of cynicism for knowledge, I sometimes used to imagine a sharp blade cutting across the room at a certain height, lopping off the fingers of these scare-quoting women. That is fiction. It is not autofiction. Sadie is a disgraced former FBI agent and a person with malicious intent. When I myself was at Berkeley, I actually didn't understand what rhetoric was as a discipline, but I was certain that the rhetoric majors were cooler and more mature than the rest of us. Sadie is just being a bitch about the chunky shoes and the department store leather jacket. To select rhetoric as a major, it seemed to me at my tender age like you had to be versed in postmodernism, even just to parse the course catalog. There was a rhetoric grad student named Steve who had a reputation as a star of the department, but who I knew personally as the DJ at the slightly rough bar down Shattuck Avenue, where I was a cocktail waitress in college. That, to me, was rhetoric. People with substantial record collections who were rumored to be intellectuals. I myself had no strong convictions about what to study when I arrived at Berkeley. As a freshman, I signed up for some reason for a class in the film department taught by a professor named Seymour Chapman. The course was called The Surface of the World. It was on the films of Michelangelo Antonioni and named for the eponymous book Chapman had written on this subject and assigned to our class. We watched over the 15 weeks of a semester Antonioni's entire oeuvre of movies, even the long and ponderous late film Identification of a Woman, which features excruciating and protracted sex scenes, I was a virgin and an innocent pretending to be a sophisticate and cinephile, and so I had to mask my embarrassment also from myself. The main focus of this class and Chapman's scholarship was on what he called Antonioni's great tetralogy, 4 films, La Ventura, La Notte, L'Eclisse, and Red Desert, works that examine, each in a different way, the experience of profound alienation amidst modernity. The next semester, I enrolled in Italian, perhaps wanting to enter the frame of an Antonioni film. But I didn't take any more film classes. Instead, I majored in political economy, then called PEIS, Political Economy of Industrial Societies, the ones whose industrialized progress, to scare quote, made Monica Vitti clutch at her green boucle coat as she stands before the towering smokestacks of a chemical plant in Red Desert. The PEIS major allowed me to bounce between econ, poli-sci, and history. My coursework was easy for me, and I can see only now that I did not take it very seriously. I was not preparing myself for scholarship. I was instead learning the mechanics of the world for some other reason via mercenary and interdisciplinary means. What I didn't yet know was that everything I absorbed was for art and about art. I only know that now. And I understood only many years hence that the most quixotic and inessential class I took at Berkeley, Seymour Chapman's The Surface of the World, would turn out to be the college experience that shaped me most significantly. This was all so long ago that my undergraduate tuition was $585 a semester, and some of my professors, such as the historian Stephen Ambrose, chain-smoked in the lecture hall. There were professors back then who still spoke with a mid-Atlantic accent, like they were actors in movies by Billy Wilder or Alfred Hitchcock. But then again, it was a time when history was happening right here at Berkeley, history in vivid color with a capital H. By the fall of my sophomore year in 1986, through tireless organizing and courageous encounters with the administration and the Berkeley police, Cal students, my older brother among them, successfully forced the UC Regents to divest $12 billion from apartheid South Africa. This act led in crucial ways to the dismantling of apartheid Toot Court, and Nelson Mandela later came to Berkeley to thank the students. That same fall, the Regents divested, President Ronald Reagan's squalid Iran-Contra dealings hit the news. I remember the morning I learned about that scandalous affair on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle in a friend's dorm room. My emphasis in my major was US foreign policy in Nicaragua, and so this news of a secret illegal arms deal to fund the Contras, the counterinsurgents attempting to overthrow the Sandinista government, felt personal. It confirmed my most paranoid thoughts about American foreign policy. In the fall of 1989, I was sitting on a bench outside Worcester Hall when a crack zippered across the pavement under my feet. This was the Loma Prieta earthquake. Down Bancroft Way, a black plume went up as if a bomb had been detonated. I ran with a crowd of others to see what happened. "First strike," someone yelled, mocking Reagan's Cold War ideology. But the Russians had not bombed us. A tow facility for impounded vehicles had caught fire. A crowd festively gathered across the street with store-bought beers and watched it burn to the ground. There was some kind of lesson there in destruction and gathering, in the logic of crowds, and of Berkeley as a place that is ragged and full to bursting with real life, and where parking is tight and cars get towed. Now that I've toured the world, thanks to my good fortune as a novelist, I've also toured the Ivy League, and frankly, I am not impressed. Those schools face inward. Their neo-Gothic architecture gated off and heavily secured against the cities where they operate. Their faculty congratulate themselves and each other and their students for being very special, very, very special. At Berkeley, no one tells you you're special. You persevere without coddling. And I feel sure that you will be better equipped to flourish in the hard times that have arrived than those who were told they would be ruling the rest of us. My last year at Berkeley, the very troubled co-op, Barrington Hall, where I had seen many bands play, was closed for good, but not before a terrifying showdown between Barrington residents and riot police, after which a student I was friends with named Juan Mendoza, a delicate boy of 20, fell to his death from the roof under circumstances that have never been explained. As I graduated, the Sandinistas and their revolutionary movement were voted out of office in Nicaragua. The first Gulf War was set to begin. The US economy was sliding into recession. The activist spirit at Berkeley that had moved mountains in the form of apartheid divestment was focused instead on a little patch of weedy park down Telegraph, People's Park, whose utopian 60s symbolism was no longer matched by its reality as a gritty lot where people argued and broke bottles over each other's heads. Look, this format, Commencement, can be done different ways. When it's Conan O'Brien, it is yucks galore. When it's Susan Sontag, it is humor-free warnings about intellectual end times, where she attributes to the ravages of television, which she attributes to the ravages of television on high culture. Me, I just want to be honest, in case my experience resonates, and I want to speak to those among you who are not sure about your future, aren't sure what your role is going to be in the waking dream of this life. By the end of my time here as a student, the truth is, I was tired of Berkeley. I felt alone and isolated, and in some sense lost, especially compared to some of my peers who knew exactly what they wanted to do, who had internships or law school acceptances, who seemed to regard the world as coherent and to see a legible path to cementing their place in it. I could not help but regard as alien the people around me who were eager to enter the white-collar workforce, as if they longed to be employees. How could you try for anything you were not simply burning to do? In case it's not obvious, my attitude rendered me entirely unfit for 9-to-5 employment. I could have gone to graduate school, but that's a pursuit for those who want to narrow down and dilate into their field, and I didn't have a field. All I knew was that the world felt tumultuous. It seemed full of contradictions and compromise, and I wanted to be genuine. I wanted to be free, which meant, more or less, that I was committing myself to poverty and doubt. I moved back to San Francisco, where I'm from, and was hanging out with my high school friends, most of whom had not gone to college. I made sandwiches at a brewery that was a gathering spot for young professionals from the financial district, among them people I recognized from Berkeley, frat boys and sorority girls who seemed to be continuing the life they'd led before, except now they were dressed in suits. I sometimes thought I detected desperation under their big smiles, but who knows, perhaps I projected. I graduated from that job to tending bar at seedier establishments for better money and a world of more interesting characters, if not a path that would lead to any kind of future. Until I was 24 or 25 and decided to focus on writing, I did not know what I was going to do with my life, and instead took shelter in bohemianism. I was not sure how to marshal into practice whatever my talents were in order to make a contribution to the world. My earlier childhood unfolded in the experimental 1970s. I had gone to a hippie public school modeled on an English pedagogy called Summerhill, where classes were not compulsory and the curriculum was designed by students and teachers together. The kids at my elementary school were not encouraged to learn. If they wanted to learn, great. If they didn't want to learn, well, that was fine too. I can see now that the chaos and purity of selecting classes at 5, of choosing to participate, set me on the longer and more scenic route toward my life. I had a dream recently that I was holding a mylar balloon that was magical. By sending it mental instructions, it lifted me off the ground and transported me airborne where I wanted to go. I was worried in my dream that I'd be afraid to fly, just holding onto this silver balloon, but I wasn't. Instead, I felt a sense of possibility that shimmered like the mylar skin of the balloon. The balloon is a symbol, like all objects in dreams. When I go back to the films of Antonioni, they somehow guide me. I get from them a sense of artistic possibility. They do two opposing things for me at once. They comfort me and they envelop me in a mysterious feeling. Looking into the surfaces of Antonioni's world is an airy balloon that continues to propel me. You don't understand these things while you're young. You simply can't. It's later that you can see the pattern, recognize the cunning of reason in terms of what shaped your life and how. The surface of the world contains everything hidden, but right there in plain sight. Would Seymour Chapman, who passed away a few years ago, have remembered me? Not on your life, not in a million years. I came to his class, I watched the films, I never said a word. I would have left no impression on him or any of the others, or any of these students. I was studying, absorbing, and listening. Mooning over these existential films was the work that served me best. It's different work than securing an internship or applying to grad school or drawing attention to yourself as a great orator among your peers, a leader, as they say. No shade on leaders, but I didn't want to be one. My life would have been easier and my path straighter if I'd impressed other people and proceeded like the world was coherent and assumed with confidence that there was a place for me in it, an internship, a fellowship, a this ship, a that ship. But it would have been a less ecstatic life than it has been because it would have been less right for me. I turned to art as the place where everything else could stream through, where I could use my entire self in my vocation. Art is a prototype of what it is to live well, according to Terry Eagleton, who goes on, "It is radical not so much because of what it says as because of what it is. Art is an image of non-alienated labor in a world in which men and women fail to recognize themselves in what they create. Where art was, there shall humanity be." Eagleton is talking about Karl Marx's aesthetics and a future of plenty. I'm talking about my own life and possibly yours. This spring at Stanford, where I'm Stein visiting writer, I showed my students clips from Antonioni's Red Desert. In a university-wide colloquium, I talked about my relationship to film and to how critical movies are to the way I write novels and the way I see what I pay attention to. So much of what I do started here in that Seymour Chapman class. You too will have had experiences here, or even just one book you read, one film you saw, one professor who will later have helped nudge you onto your path. It might turn out that you've been floating over the city of your own life by the buoyancy of a single notion, some choice you made without even realizing it. Sadie, my jaded ex-rhetoric department novel protagonist, doesn't know that her dystopic vision of modern language association job interviews in DoubleTree hotel rooms is, in fact, a golden era that has effectively vanished. Those of you who make it to the DoubleTree Hotel for an academic job interview are going to be the lucky few. But among you, you've parsed philosophy and ethics and law and literature. You've mastered a fluency in cinema and other visual media. And with these interdisciplinary skills, you are poised to face this harrowing historic moment, regardless of what direction you take. Just don't become an undercover cop like my character Sadie. We need to limit and not expand the police state, the surveillance state, the war machine. Avoid them. Go to the movies instead. Wait. I just have one more graph. Advice is possibly useless because we learn things best the hard way. But here are a few more of my convictions as they've clarified themselves to me. Pay attention. Be a seer. Cherish small daily joys. They accumulate. Judge yourself before you go house to house, judging other people, and you'll be set on a satisfying lifelong course of trying to be good and do good instead of be bitter and not know it. But also, you are Berkeley grads, and so speak truth to power, and when justice calls upon you, occupy everything until your demands are met. I'm very excited for you all. I commend you and congratulate you.
Hi, I'm Nasser Zakaria, and I'm speaking here today as the Rhetoric Head Faculty Advisor, Undergraduate Advisor. I'm going to introduce now the Rhetoric student speakers. I'm just going to call them up one by one in order. Our first speaker today is Daphne Jane Mascry.
I'm here to answer the question that many members of the audience no doubt wonder, but are too afraid to ask because it's 4 years and a few tuition dollars too late. What is rhetoric? And everyone in the department will have their own answer. And as we heard earlier, sometimes it's a very specific, deliberate non-answer. Here's my answer. My calling in rhetoric began at the ripe age of 8. I grew suspicious of the tooth fairy, and I set a trap to test my theory. I lost a tooth, told no one. The next morning, there were no coins under my pillow. So I confronted my mother. The tooth fairy isn't real, is she? Not wanting to lie to me, my mother confessed that I was right. I'll never forget what she told me. She said, but I wouldn't want you to think that there's not still magic in this world, because there is. I've thought about that every day since. As children, the idea of magic is handed to us on a silver platter. When we grow up, it's harder to find because it doesn't look like wizards and fairies. From that day on, I was obsessed with finding the magic my mom told me about. It wasn't until my first rhetoric class during freshman year that I realized I wasn't the only one. Rhetoric is the study of how the world moves and how we move the world. How ideas, movements, entire civilizations rise and fall by the assembly of a few well-placed words. It's about pulling at the threads of the tapestries we weave to make sense of the world. It's the speeches that change lives, the images that inspire revolutions, the handwritten letters that bring tears of joy to those we love. It's the chants of protest that galvanize thousands at Say Their Gate. It's the inscriptions on our graduation stoles that tell the world what we accomplished here. In times like these, it's more important than ever to not lose sight of the tremendous power we hold to shape the world around us. As we close this chapter and begin the next, let us remember that our words are not mere sounds or symbols, but instruments of transformation, capable of changing lives and chartering new worlds. We must wield this power thoughtfully, creatively, and courageously, knowing that the true spirit of rhetoric lies not in convincing others of what we believe, but in helping them discover their voice, their truth, their capacity to shape the world around them. If that's not magic, I don't know what is. I'd like to thank the brilliant professors, peers, family, and friends who remind me of that magic every day.
Thank you, Daphne. Our next speaker is Selena Yang.
I'm constantly reliving my first rhetoric lectures, the feeling of leaving class starry-eyed, but with all my fundamental assumptions destroyed. Destroyed, that is, in order to strengthen our beliefs, and in never taking anything for granted, we become even more sure of our positions in this world. In the rhetoric lounge, in Dwinell Hall, in symposiums, at home, when time slips over our debates on theory, I realized how aptly this major is a home for the hungry mind. We have a certain curiosity that mixes with energy to become fiery, ambitious, but also nurturing. My favorite classes were the ones that linked antiquity to the present. First of all, who doesn't love reading about ancient beef between philosophers and sophists? It's an honor knowing that we graduate as part of a long lineage of thinkers who, to the chagrin of others around them, question the world nonstop. And yes, Socrates and Diogenes, I'm looking at you. While writing this speech, I thought about all the times I explained what is rhetoric to incoming students on Cal Day. There were many short, quick, and perhaps even all too easy answers about what rhetoric was. That it's a combination of English and philosophy, or that it's the study of how language gains meaning. But quickly, I realized that rhetoric explores how meaning gains meaning. The beauty of it is precisely within this inability to be pinned down, just like how each person graduating here today has shared their unique strengths, and more importantly, their unique weaknesses, within the classroom and outside of it. More than ever, society needs this ability to think from the margins. We need to gather in the undercommons and never stop learning, even when the break of summer entices us or when the ease of ignorance seems far too comfortable. It is not from a place of pure optimism that I say that the world will become better. Rather, it's a pessimistic point of view, knowing that any worldly change must stem from tangible action, and no one is exempt. We major in rhetoric for the sake of the future, of building one that is socially engaged, and where, for the sake of our communities, we refuse to shy away from harsh realities. No one can take the power of language from you, me, or from anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Selena. Our next speaker is Ray Blackbird.
Hello, everyone, friends, family, graduates. I am the last signpost before the unknown, moments before our lives change forever. Right now, the United States is deporting people at will, slashing funding for medical research, fueling hatred towards queer people across the country, and placing blocks to education before children everywhere. War and genocide persist. It can feel impossible, overwhelming to know what to do or where to go. But I'm here to remind you that this is exactly what we have been preparing for. We have the tools to create the future. And though it will be a future we can't even begin to imagine, we have to work towards it. Now is a time for persistence in the face of radical uncertainty. The seeds that we plant will grow under rains that we do not yet know, we may never see. For we have spent our time here among the undercommons with each other. Our power is to see the black space beyond words, and to arm ourselves with the eyes of the other, to be when we are told not to. Each one of us has the strength for what is to come, and though it will be hard, we are so ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. And now, my counterpart in film and media, Jacob.
Hello, my name is Jacob Gabry, and I'm the faculty advisor for the undergraduate program in film and media. And it's my pleasure to introduce our student speakers for this evening. Our first speaker is Jenny V. Titi Nguyen.
Hi, everyone. I remember one of the first films I watched in a film class was Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory. I think we can guess which film class I took. For those of you unfamiliar, it's around 40 seconds of, you guessed it, workers leaving the Lumiere Factory. As students of film and media, films such as these are important. Not only were they the first films, but also, for the first time, they added another dimension to the still image, time. We have gone beyond a frozen frame into a visualization of motion and time. Now, before I get too carried away, this is not a Film 10 lecture. We are graduating from the Film and Media department. In many ways, studying the one medium with such a complex relationship to time has made us more than film scholars. We are historians, inquisitors of culture, and time travelers, traveling through Soviet montage, French New Wave, pre-code Hollywood, and more. But today, and I'm sure throughout the past couple of weeks, we are reckoning with our own relationship to time. It's so funny how 3 hours in a film screening can seem so slow, yet the past 4 years have gone by so fast. So the question is, where do we go from here? The past 4 years of writing sequence analyses, late night film shoots and editing sessions, even people asking you for your favorite film or your Letterboxd account when they find out you're a film major, all of this seems to have led up to this very day. Graduation can feel a little scary because we are leaving behind much of what we know. Over 20 years of being a student, having homework and readings and cramming for a test, a period of time that we have all called the future for so long, AKA graduation, is finally here. We tend to imagine our future and goals as a distant image, and after today, we will all have vastly different images of what we call the future. But I imagine, despite this, we are excited, a little nervous, and certainly unsure what the road to this future means for each of us. What I want to say to this is for us to think about how the very first films, including workers leaving the Lumiere factory, captured time. A visualization of motion and time passing is created through capturing consecutive frames, consecutive frozen images. And in these frozen images, the subject is inching further and further along their path. Every frame, every fraction of a second is different than the previous. Think about the moment you read your acceptance letter to Berkeley, or the moment you attended a lecture and that 3-hour film screening you went to finally clicked, or the moment you realized you loved film so much you decided to pursue a degree studying it. These moments can feel instantaneous, but they do come from an accumulation of several moments of your life. Think about what led you to apply to Berkeley, or the film knowledge you had already accumulated before entering that lecture, or the first time you watched a film and enjoyed it, and watched another one, and another one. There will certainly be moments in our journeys where everything seems to be moving so fast, moments where you feel stagnant, moments of joy, anger, boredom, the list goes on. Yet, every single moment will push you towards your image of the future, whatever those aspirations are. We will always be in a different place than we were a second ago, or 2 seconds ago, or 3. And as we graduate and move forth to our next aspirations and hopes for the future, there will be times where we aren't really sure where we are going, or if we are on the right path to what we have hoped for. However, I know that despite all of this, we will always be moving forward, always working towards something. So celebrate each step that you take, every moment that you share with your friends and family, strangers, and all that's beyond. Every moment has led us up to this point. So congratulations to the class of 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, TT. Our second student speaker for the evening is Orestes Sophocleos.
Hello, everybody. Even though in the last graduation, I was afraid that all this is going to fall off my shoulders. So it is a great honor to be here in front of all of you as we enter a new chapter in our lives. It's actually great to see so many film majors that everybody was looking through classes to find out who was who. I'm always eager to embark on a new journey and turn the page, but this is a precious moment and I would like to hold on to it. I've stood on a stage like this one many times before, but that was as an actor or as a performer, and today it's different. I stand before you as an immigrant, as a non-traditional student, and a Berkeley graduate. Each identity I shared to some extent with all of you. An actor, for me, is a perpetual learner. And what connects my acting career to the completion of my degree is the search for self and the relentless search for truth. I began my academic journey thanks to my dear friends Jeannie and Timmy, who introduced me to the idea that even an immigrant here in the United States can join college, and so I did. And Timmy, who is also a graduate from the Cal, he's a film major here, he helped me put together my application for the UCs, and when I told him that instead of acting, my special skill was that I was an abstract thinker, he absolutely fell apart and started laughing. And of course, I regretted it since then. But what I want to say with this is, like, I was already noticing a shift from being an actor and a performer to becoming a student. And I want to say that Cal has offered me this unique opportunity to reinvent myself, to learn, to go deep, to experiment, to grow. And 2 years down the line, my other friend Jeannie, she tells me every time we speak, you have been Berkeleyed. So when I told my best friend of 20 years that I was offered the commencement speech, he said, wow, it seems like it's like in a movie. And I said, yeah. But though he never said what type of a movie that was. What he said, though, has a deeper meaning about our relationship to cinema. And that is that cinema is life, and life is cinema. We shape the art that shapes our reality. So as the audience sits in the dark room for the communal experience of a movie-going, so did we share our minds and hearts in Berkeley classrooms. And by critically engaging with text, we examine the world at a granular level. And so now we can distinguish between what is good for society and what it's not. So I dare say to all of you, you have been Berkeley too. You are an invaluable part of my growth, and hopefully I have been part of yours. You're the ones who will shape the future for the medium and its message. You are the medium, and we need to pass our message loud and clear in the face of present and future adversity. Passion for the humanities, for freedom of expression, for art and learning. And to that, I want to express my gratitude to the film department, our professors, and the faculty for facilitating this meaningful experience. Fiat Lux, and go Bears.
I'm Nicole Staroselsky. I'm a professor in the Department of Film and Media. And in our department, Film and Media, we're devoted to the study of film theory, history, and aesthetics. But we also see film as a medium for creative experimentation. In our production classes, students learn the grammar of cinema and how to use it to explore forms of self-expression. Each year, many of our students produce compelling and original moving image work in classes, working across genre forms, including essay films, documentary, avant-garde cinema, and narrative. This year, we invited our students to submit work completed in one of our production classes in order to create a short compilation reel that offers you just a glimpse into the creative vision of our remarkable students. Enjoy.
Hey, I just finished writing you a long letter, catching you up on how I've been. It ended neatly, tied with a little bow. I chose my words well, but I didn't tell the truth, so I'm starting again, gonna type and not look back, and send what comes out.
Do you want to get out of here?
Sure.
So wide, throw me in the dark, I don't know what it was. Day into night, I want you till the morning light. Love me, love me, love me.
What do you see?
A square.
What do you see?
Beyond the line of shadow, I see nothing.
What do you see?
Beyond the line. Again! Beyond the line of shadow, I see nothing!
Every time I put something into words just as I see it, set it to the right music, a knot comes loose in me. But it hurts too, confronting the knots. I know I'm gonna look back on this year with fondness and a bit of awe, knowing that it was the year that locked everything into place. The year that transitioned me from my childhood working decade to the one that comes next. One that even through all this, I'm so excited for.
Going to begin our award presentations. The first award we're presenting is the Outstanding Graduate Student Instructor Award, which honors UC Berkeley graduate student instructors, GSIs, each year for their outstanding work in teaching on the Berkeley campus. I didn't hear that, but I'm assuming it was affirmation. These OGSI recipients are nominated from within their teaching department. The GSI Teaching and Resource Center provides the award recipients with certifications of distinction, or certificates rather. This year, Rhetoric wishes to congratulate David Lau and Robin Manley for their outstanding instruction. I don't believe they're here with us right now, though maybe this is something they're watching since it's being live streamed. Before we turn to other awards, I'd also like to thank 4 of our undergraduates for their contributions to Cal Day. You're going to meet them all for their thesis presentations on that day. That's Isabella Lake, Daphne Jane Maskery, who you already saw, Logan Roscoe, and Simran Ruta. Their presentations were wonderful, as was the generosity with which they answered many, many questions from many future graduates. We are now going to move to the Departmental Citation and Rhetoric Award, which is going to be presented by my colleague, Ramona.
Hello, congratulations. I am honored to present the Departmental Citation and the Rhetoric Award. This student was selected by the faculty for this honor and awarded the Departmental Citation for Exceptional Academic Achievement. The Departmental Citation in Rhetoric is awarded to Ashlyn Reynolds. Ashlyn will complete her undergraduate studies a year early in order to pursue a master's at Harvard Divinity School. In the words of one of her instructors, Ashlyn has, quote, proved herself a serious scholar within the seminar space by way of her written work and her extensive extracurricular study throughout the years I have known her. I don't think I have met anyone as single-minded about becoming an academic. She is intellectually ambitious, materially grounded, generous in conversation, and has a deep commitment to the sort of work we do in Rhetoric. Another of her teachers has observed of her that she, quote, has been untiring in her engagement and bold, and that she approaches research with a wonderful attitude of skepticism and irreverence that keeps her curious. And yet a third, pointing to Ashlyn's research on the emergence of the West Coast conceptual art movement, points to Ashlyn's reading and research in the history of art since 1900, calling her, quote, and this is me, a truly interdisciplinary rhetoric scholar, and noting of her that it has been at least 15 years since I've had a student so intellectually committed and curious, determined and motivated by the world of ideas and critical thinking as well as an independent thinker reflecting deeply on aesthetic, ethical, and political matters and values. We are honored to present Ashlyn with a citation prize and also for inspiring our other rhetoric students from Sacramento, California.
Our next awards are for the Rhetoric Honors Thesis. This is a thesis that's written over the course of a year. We have 2 winners this year, and I will call them one after the other. The first is Logan Roscoe for the thesis, Edges of Something Unprecedented, Weird Description. I'll describe it as Logan comes to the stage. Logan's honors thesis studies description in a trilogy of novels by Jeff Vandermeer, a contemporary artist and critic in the popular subgenre of speculative fiction called Weird, whose historical canon includes works by Kafka, Borges, Cortázar, H.P. Lovecraft, and Octavia Butler. In her thesis, Logan claims that description is the motivator of weird story intrigue, a quality that defines weird novels as weird, and makes their stories rhetorically useful in coming to terms with the unknown. The thesis explains how Vandermeer employs extensive description rather than plot to realize the epistemological potential of weird narrative art. Weird description offers a paradigm for readers looking beyond literature to confront the strangeness of the past, present, and future in ordinary and extraordinary human experience. It is also, in the words of her thesis advisor, a highly entertaining work. Congratulations, Logan. Our next thesis award winner is Simran Ruta. Simran Ruta's thesis, I Will Be Unraveled and Rebuilt, as is true in every moment, Meditations on Authorship, Trauma, Transness, and Return, is an exceptional work of autotheoretical scholarship that explores trauma, transness, and authorship through a startlingly original methodology, incorporating careful reading of texts. You can keep walking on writing and body, awkward though it is. Quite compelling engagement with mainstays of critical canon, culminating in a burning haven, taking this work of theory into a poetical terrain, analyzing ritualistic practice of returning to and annotating a traumatic narrative annually. Simran challenges conventional approaches to healing and offers insight into the transformative potential of traumaphilia. This is a deeply thoughtful, critical work that encourages the reader to reconsider questions of healing, self-authorship, possession, and narrative. Congratulations, Simran. Our final award in rhetoric is Rhetoric in Action. This award is presented to students in the rhetoric department who have demonstrated academic excellence and have been actively involved in either community service, art practice and performance, or professional work outside of the academy and department. The Rhetoric in Action Award goes to Isabella Lake. Again, I'll read as Isabella comes to the stage. There are many ways in which Isabella puts rhetoric in action, and we can do no more than touch upon them here. She has headed advocacy for an on-campus organization, Undergraduate Street Medicine Outreach, which, to take only one element of that work, has meant her visiting one of 4 major Berkeley, Oakland, encampment communities nearly every weekend for the past 2 years, bringing food and requested resources to our unhoused neighbors. As she observes, all of my work with advocacy for unhoused Berkeley residents has originated in my love for this interpersonal work, through which I've become familiar with the brutal realities of homelessness, as well as a number of very dear friends. Her work has also involved her with local city council meetings and the mayoral election in response in particular to efforts to sweep the encampments. She has in addition worked with the international policy-oriented think tank, the Oakland Institute, examining, as she observes, the World Bank's recent actions in Ukraine, which under cover of war reportage has led to around 1/3 of agricultural properties being connected with foreign investors and buyers. From this, she has written a no less deserving rhetoric thesis, which in the words of her thesis advisor, is powerful and thoughtful. To all this can be added her work as a decal instructor, in charity sales, as editor-in-chief for a campus organization, and an Art of Writing fellow, and still more. For every part of her work, and for all of it taken together, we are honored to present Isabella with this award. Congratulations, Isabella.
I will now present the awards for film and media. And I'll begin as well with the Outstanding Graduate Student Instructor Award, which again, these recipients are nominated by their teaching departments for their outstanding work in teaching on the UC Berkeley campus. This year's awardees are Jonathan Macris and Osorugwe Otabele. Please join me in congratulating them. They are also not here today, but I'm sure they're watching the live stream. Next is the Film Citation Award. This undergraduate was selected by the faculty for this honor and is awarded the Departmental Citation for Exceptional Academic Achievement. This year, the faculty recognize Emily Sunflower Thompson. Emily Thompson is an accomplished film and media graduate who has excelled in a wide variety of classes in the major, completing her degree with a 4.0 GPA while also parenting 2 small children. She has shown consistent interest in the ways that queer relationships and family structures interact with narrative and popular media, and has devoted special attention to honing her writing skills in the major. After participating in the Art of Writing program by taking advanced film writing in fall 2021, she went on to work for the Art of Writing program at the Townsend Center for the Humanities, where she got a broad comparative view of the work of the humanities centers on university campuses broadly. She is, not surprisingly, a great writer and a perceptive and thoughtful cultural analyst, and will be continuing her studies in the fall in the PhD program in Film and Digital Media at UC Santa Cruz. Congratulations, Emily. Our second prize is the Linda Williams Prize, which recognizes a student whose innovative academic and/or creative work and overall classroom participation throughout their degree program has left a lasting mark on the intellectual and creative community of the department. This year, the faculty recognize Bella Reeves. One of the films that Bella made this year is called Swim, and the title perfectly reflects her drive as a filmmaker to dive deep below the surface of her characters to examine the hidden interiority that informs complex relationships. She excels in using visual storytelling and subtext to find profound meaning in ordinary moments between friends and family, and in doing so, engages and moves her audience. Bella has also been an invaluable part of the production class's workshop process, consistently offering insightful, supportive feedback to every one of her fellow classmates, Her comments not only reflect her keen understanding of craft and theory, but are enriched by her appreciation for each filmmaker's individual goals. Her notes truly support each artist's unique vision, and as a result, her presence elevates everyone's experience in the creative process of exploration and iteration. Congratulations, Bella. You're welcome. Our final award is the Nestrick Award, which recognizes outstanding achievement in creative practice. This year's recipient is Addison Lee. During her time in our department, Addison has experimented with a variety of cinematic modes and approaches, creating an engaging and eclectic body of work. Addison's deeply inquisitive nature has led her to explore a mix of fascinating film topics with discerning criticism and witty humor, from looking into the vanishing corners of the internet through a personal essay film to reevaluating the act of gossiping through a playful, interview-based documentary. While she's dedicated to her own vision as a filmmaker, Addison is equally invested in supporting the vision of her peers. In production courses, she shines as a true collaborator and an invaluable contributor to group activities in the classroom and in the field. Her positive, proactive, and resourceful attitude has had a significant impact on the projects of her peers, on the overall group work in the classroom, and on the department as a whole. Congratulations, Addison. You're welcome. Jim?
We will now have the presentation of the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Rhetoric, and they will be introduced by whom? I don't know. I think Tony, you have to come to the podium. These, this is not interesting, okay. So the first honor, awardee is Maisie Wilshire Gordon, whose dissertation is The Ethics of Form in Modernist and Contemporary Novels, and she is receiving her hood from her dissertation chair, Anthony Cascardi. And the second PhD is Camilla Yadot, whose dissertation is titled Liberalism from the Periphery, How Yan Fu and Yang Qiqiu Transformed the Liberal Tradition for China. And she will be receiving her hood from her committee member, James Porter. Sorry about that. Candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, you have voluntarily submitted yourself to the traditions that become the scholar in pursuit of knowledge and have proven yourselves worthy of this high calling. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President and Chancellor, I grant you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Okay. We will proceed to the Bachelor of Arts degree students next, and my colleagues will be introducing the candidates in rhetoric.
Candidates, please come up the stairs. Hand me your card. I can read your name. You'll get a diploma from my colleague and a photo. Daphne Jane Maskery. Selena Young. Abigail Hines. Ashlyn Reynolds. Anish Gupta. Jordan Melman. Lily Salenya. Brazil Clark. Isabella Lake. Catherine Isabella Olson. Elena Del Signore. Logan Roscoe. Simran Ruta. Ray Blackbird. Sophia Ocon. Aleba McDaniel. Gabriela Schmid. Robert Mendoza Carrillo. Serena Kaur Sundhu. Mark Kevin Robles. Sungha Cho. Aditya Pudmaraj. Dennis J. Song. Kimberly Crawez. Amit Pirat Singh Mahal. Zara Karoma. Carolina Santos Paez. Veronica Jurado. Claire Chen. Okay, do we have a script? That's it, thank you. It's in here. Yes, my colleagues Dolores McElroy and Iggy. No. Yeah. There's my script. Here we are. Iggy Cortez will now.
That's it. We got it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, everyone. I'd like to welcome up to the stage the students of the Film and Media Department. Come on up. Griffin Rudy. Ria Patel. Ainsley McGuire. Amber Gao. Mimi Shu. Winnie Chu. Winifred Lee. Yingxin Yao. Justin Jones. Diamanda Morgado Ibanez. Jia Sun. Kira Wafers. Laurel Kuo. Adiola Kofo Abayomi. Alden Dickey. Sage Solomon. Fabiola Torres. Orestes Sophocleus. Cynthia Tang. Addison Lee. Jenny Nguyen. Bella Reeves. Sam Ivy. Ruth Fontes Avila. Josh Hyunjun Choi. Rodrigo Sebastian Gomez. Ryan Elizabeth Walters. Kate Anstedt. Marwa Nauman. Brianna Adine Flanagan. Ava Chamberlain. Guillermo Juarez Gonzalez. Jeanette Giselle Orozco Castro. Moises Amaya. Abrold Tudayan Sea-Dog. Yanda Chen. Xiaomin Cheng. Yue Wang. Angel Ma. Chloe Amelia Murray. Malachite McAvoy. Shane Duran. Thelma Emiri. Mia Garza Jenkins. Kayvon Terry. Aaron Pitts. Jacqueline Jones. Min Ki Kim. Will Koo. Addie Tweet. Bridget Lettergerber. Jessica Ottaway. Avery Melzer. Ethan Dubovsky. Milo Jun. And I'm gonna, the next name reading will be done by my colleague, Professor Iggy Cortez.
Lucas, go. Pranav Panala. Kevin Wu. Henry Xie. Nate Torton. Harsh Kumbat. London Vidari. Ashley Catherine Ann Buffonis Swift. Emma Fernandez. Andre Baram. Ryan Lee Tanega. Savannah Aguillo. Dash Foley Wilkins. Anaya Dennis. Joy Diamond.
We refute Jewishness being hijacked by an occupation that continues to cause the harm of so many people. Jonathan Glazer, Director of Zone of Interest.
Izzy Tragarts. Yensu Tan. Phoebe Chia Zhao. Fan Yao Zheng. Tianqin Zhu. Daniel Williams Cornejo. Kayla Rodriguez. Alexa Gutierrez Reina. Saito Hinako. Ashley Kumar. Candace Wong. Emerson Goebbels. Melissa McKenzie. Goichen Jiu. Alice Faria. Maxwell Schmidt. Kaylee Purangao. Kylie Purangao. Oliver Stewart. Gabriel Jett. Todd Taylor Green. George Flores. Nayla Latich. Alisa Poole. Emily Sunflower Thompson. Yoonjin Choi. David Wayne Kaitown, Jr. Donna Guevara. Sophia Malki. Rosalie Lozano Solorio. Dongqing Xie. Timothy James Briagas. Janet Ganbold. Jester DeChico. Kyle Blatz. Liam Raffey. Miles Clark. Leslie Lee. Adriana Marie Villarina. Abidou Munoz. Joshua Minter. Vittoria Barone. Sorry? James? Sorry, can you write that? So James Fahey? That's it. Oh, yeah. James Fahey. Xinyu Xu. Rachel Whitney Schwartz. And that concludes the candidates for the class of 2025, Bachelor of Arts in Film and Media.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts in Rhetoric and Film and Media please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President and Chancellor, I grant you the degree of Bachelor of Arts. You may now move your tassels to the left. Please be seated. Before we conclude today's ceremony, we would like to thank the essential members of our staff, without whose support many students would never make it out of Dwinelle. The department advisors and staff in Rhetoric and Film have, over the last 4 years, patiently helped our students navigate the campus bureaucracy and our degree requirements so that they could reach this day. I will simply name them here and ask you to hold applause until the end. Rhetoric and Film and Media staff includes our indispensable department manager, Faith Anemark, our undergraduate advisor, Hedy Vafinia, our graduate student advisor, Kathleen Perry-Yangar, our media technology specialist, Heather Riley, our Media Lab coordinator, Joshua Leon Harper, Kim Bessel, academic HR analyst, our program coordinator, Yves Latendre, and our behind-the-scenes financial analyst, Katie Robertson. In addition to providing crucial support for our students and faculty, they're also the ones who organize this commencement event. So I would like to give them a big round of applause as well. I ask that the audience remain seated until first the faculty and then the students exit the auditorium. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you.